E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6, Bishop C4, Knight F6, Castling kingside, Bishop C5, Knight C3, D6, D3, Bishop G4, Bishop E3, Bishop B6, A3, Knight E7, D4, Bishop takes F3, G takes F3, Knight G6, King H1, E takes D4, Bishop takes D4, Bishop takes D4, Queen takes D4, A6, Rook A, E1, Knight E5, Bishop E2, Knight H5, Queen E3, Queen H4, Knight D5, King D7, F4, Knight G6, Bishop takes H5, Queen takes H5, Queen C3, C6, Knight B6, check, King C7, Knight takes A8, Rook takes A8, E5, D5, Queen G3, Queen F5, Rook E3, Queen takes F4, Queen takes F4, Knight takes F4, Rook G1, Knight E6, F4, G6, Rook F3, Knight D4, Rook F2, Knight F5, Rook E1, King D7, Rook F3, King E6, H4, H5, Rook H3, Knight G7, King G2, King F5, Rook B3, B5, Rook C3, Rook C8, King G3, Knight E6, Rook D1, D4, Rook F3, C5, C3, Rook D8, B4, C4, King F2, D takes C3, Rook takes D8, Knight takes D8, King G3, King E4, Rook takes C3, King D4, Rook C1, Knight E6, King F3, C3, Rook D1 check, King C4, King A3, C2, Rook C1, King B3, Rook F1, King B2, King E4, C1 promote Queen, Rook takes C1, King takes C1, F5, G takes F5, King takes F5, Knight D4 check, King G5, Knight F3, King takes H5, Knight takes E5, King H6, F6, H5, King B2, Knight G7, Knight G4, King G6, King C3, King F5, Knight H6, King G6, Knight G4, King F5, Knight E3, King E4, Knight C4, H6, Knight D6, King F4, King D4, H7, Knight F7, King F5, King D5, King takes F6, Knight H8, King G7, King E6, King F8, King F6, King E8, King G7, King D7, Knight G6, King C6, Knight E5, King B6, Knight C4, White resign.